Welcome to the show. Charles Roark here. We got a bit of breaking news tonight, and you heard it first on Star News this afternoon when we had a caller call in and say, "Hey, Charles, we're as of May 1st, we're no longer going to have a maternity ward at the Sova Health in Martinsville." Well, I've done a little research, and it looks like that's accurate. We haven't heard official word from the hospital yet, but they're always late to the game. I always get a sense that they're scared of telling the community what's going on. They're always just late at it and so forth. But this is what I do know. This is what I've been able to confirm today. The doctors start getting letters on Monday warning them. They use the word temporary, but nobody's buying that. It basically in the letter they say that temporarily the OB in Martinsville is not going to be operational. Now, how long it's going to not operate, who knows? But we're getting a lot of people talking about it on Facebook. Concerns. Anytime we do a hospital story, the negative comments get rolling. The truth is that if you do a survey in Martinsville about the Sova Health Hospital, and same thing in Danville, they don't get good reviews from the community. That's just telling it like it is. That's what we do here at Star News. We see it. I mean, I don't think I've seen a compliment on there. Some people say they're scared to go to the local hospital. But anyway, we're going to be opening the phone lines and get some reaction to this. But you heard it first here on Star News this afternoon during the 4 o'clock show, and now we're hearing more about it as we deliver the news to the community. That looks like after, they say officially May 2nd. That's what the letter said. May 2nd, there'll be no more maternity services here in Martinsville, and they're going to move everything to the Danville campus, they call it. So that's the hospital there in Danville. A little bit bigger hospital. But for folks in Martinsville County, we don't feel real good about that. So we're getting some calls here. Let me go to my phone. Hear it beeping and all that kind of stuff. Give me a ring here. It's 276-732-5898. I'm doing the show from Martinsville tonight. But we're talking about the Martinsville Hospital. I think we're going to have some pictures up momentarily where you can see Sova Health. But this is not good news for the community. I know that the medical world's been shaken up with the pandemic and all that good stuff, but no community wants to lose a service, especially a service that brings new people into the world. Well, then people said, Charles, well, what are they going to do if we, if somebody, needs to be delivered quickly, or they start going in labor? They say that the emergency room will take care of that. So they'll still be able to deliver babies here, possibly in the emergency room if they have to. Sometimes babies get delivered out in the field, but they won't be able to come back to a maternity ward. They're gonna have to bus them to, I guess, or send them on an ambulance to Danville to that particular center. So, and this is going to be a burden for families. But let me get some reaction from people out there in Martinsville. This is a special Martinsville story tonight. We're just doing the show here in the Martinsville community. But I need to get some reaction to people, how they feel about this. 276-732-5898. This is the show where we get reaction from people. So I want to hear from folks out there. In a few moments, we'll be able to see pictures of the hospital and so forth, and how they're going to operate this. Of course, I do think that the Sova Health ought to have a press conference of some kind to let the community know how they plan to do this. I've even got word that some of the people that are involved in baby delivering, that they're actually going to be closing their offices. I don't know all the ramifications of this, but we're doing a fast study on it. I just know that I think this is not good news for the Martinsville and Henry County area. We've taken some hits. Of course, we've got Troublemaker here. You're really concerned about this, aren't you? I'm gonna need to turn this up here. Give me just a second here. All right, try it now. Go ahead, one more time.
I think. What are they gonna do? Like if you deliver a baby in an emergency room, what are they gonna do? Turn around and send a mother and a newborn infant away? Or are they gonna let them spend the night in hospital or let them recover there till they go home, or what? They gonna send them out in the middle of the night?
Well,
They can't do that.
well, they haven't addressed that.
Well, they need to.
Yeah, I agree. But sober health, I tell you what, as far as the communication, I haven't been over there a lot, but as far as communicating with the public, they do not get a good grade.
They got the iron curtain up when it comes to the public.
Yeah. They did pretty good during COVID with the Chamber of Commerce kind of pushed that.
Yeah.
We saw some of the officials come in on the Zoom reports, but this is something that they really do need to inform the community on how they plan to do it.
They do need to do it real quick.
But I would suggest one thing that helps me, believe it or not, when people call and ask for the public information office, I think her name's Haley. People need to call and say, "Would y'all come tell the community what we need to do? How are we going to handle this?" I mean, people do need to help me out here and let them know that this is a community concern. To me, the CEO, first of all, they should not send out letters to doctors on Monday and expect this not to be the town talk on Tuesday.
I know.
I mean, not only do they have this problem, they have the Dr. Cernya problem. Dr. Cernya suing them. And who knows how that's going to go, because Cernya is saying he was totally cleared of any problems.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
He's going to be setting up operation in Myrtle Beach. He got as far away as he could, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I do think it's the hospital owes the community some information about Cernya and about this. I doubt we're going to get any information about Cernya. That's going to be a pretty tight-lipped lawsuit, I'm sure.
Well, like I said, I'm sure if you go over to emergency room to deliver and have a baby, I'm sure they're going to be obligated to keep you in there. They're not going to send you out of that emergency room.
Well,
in the middle of the night with a newborn baby in your arms. But say hit the road. Say, hey, y'all hit the road.
Well, they might. They could possibly ambulance them to Danville after they had it, but that could shake up the woman. And what I'm saying, a lot of times,
that's terrible, man. Do something like that.
And then for people that have to work and husbands and so forth, they'll have to go all the way to Danville, and deal with that. So this is not convenient. It's like a kick in the can. I don't care what anybody says. That this is. I want to hear why they had to do this. Now, one of the things they're saying
that would really be a trauma to a lady that had a baby. Think how terrible that would be, man.
I understand that they're telling the doctors that it's the demographics. It's not they're not delivering enough babies to pay the bill. That's what they're telling them.
They need to find another way to pay the bill instead of cutting back on that service like that.
Right. Well, I mean, one of the things that I kind of agree with Sarcastic Man on is sometimes medicine should not be commercial.
That's probably true.
Yeah, but I think that's, we don't have the best medical system in the world. I don't think it ranks very high.
It's getting worse, seems like.
Yeah.
All right.
You were in the hospital. You were in the hospital the other day. How'd they treat you?
I got treated pretty well.
Okay.
I'm satisfied.
Yeah. Did they do those surveys? Did they come by? One time I was in the hospital. I said, they handed me a survey. I said, please stop giving me surveys.
No, I don't think I don't believe I participated in that, not yet.
Yeah, I think I had to take 2 surveys, and I'm like, that's the last thing you want to do when you're not feeling good is take a survey.
Yeah. Well, look how downgrade that is. You're making like a woman's a second rate or something. She's supposed to. She's got to leave town to have a baby. That's unreal. That's like people talk about a second and third world country. That's what this sounds like to me. It's bad.
It's definitely going backwards. No question about it.
Right. Okay. Later.
All right. We'll see what the hospital says, or if they say anything at all. I mean, most of the time they say very little because it's not a lot of good things they can say. So sometimes they do that process. Give me a ring here. If you're just joining us, we're breaking the news today that no maternity ward in the hospital as of May the 2nd. Hello, you're on the air.
I think that this is a subject is far-fetched. You don't know nothing about a hospital, or how it's run, or what the real problem is. I think until you get the right information and the correct information from the CEO, or do something so that everybody will understand.
Well, that would be really nice in a perfect world, Nancy, but as you well know, it's not a perfect world.
Well, and as you know, I know people way up in the class in total health, and you're the dumbest thing I've heard of talking about it.
Mm. But I tell you what, Miss Nancy watches our show religiously to get informed. We know that too. But anyway, this is what you deal with when you try to go out and try to get information, especially sometimes when people don't want you to get information. You have to kind of battle through it, but we're used to it. But anyway, Nancy is such a hypocrite herself. I think she depends on us for information. But she's critical, not only critical of me, but critical of the callers, critical of a lot of folks. But anyway, let's get some more feedback on this. 276-732-5898 is the number. You're live and on the air.
Hello, Charles.
Yes.
I just want to talk about the hospital situation for a minute.
Okay.
It was a long time ago. I ain't heard it lately, but a long time ago, I'm going to say back in the 70s, that the people really didn't like the Martinsville Hospital or the doctors around here.
Right.
I ain't going to say what they said. They used some foul language. They really run the hospital doctors down. Blanky, blank, blanky. And the people would go to Rocky Mount or Danville.
Eden.
They didn't want to use Martinsville Hospital doctors. And I think I hope I'm wrong, Charles, but I got a gut feeling that they're going to keep on. We ain't even going to have no hospital.
Right.
I hope I'm wrong about that.
Right.
We really need one.
Right.
And Stewart lost. I mean, you got to have a hospital. I mean,
a lot of people are saying that Carillion would be better suited to do it.
Yeah, but I forgot what it was. But you really need one. It's all politics and money, or the lack of. Yeah. That's what happened with Stewart politics, and I think they was losing money and they lost hospital.
Well,
but a lot of people.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, running a hospital is an expensive venture, no question about it. And another problem is that a lot of people here don't have money to afford it. They can't afford it, and they don't have the proper Medicare or the things you need to pay the bill. So in other words, it falls through the cracks. The government has to end up picking up the pieces, and I think it gets to be a bigger problem as we go on here, and they say that the demographics, they say they're not delivering enough babies to warrant it.
Yeah, well, it's politics and money, but I mean, that's not good for the community. People saying that we will go anywhere, but didn't want to go to Martinsville. And that Dr. Hassania, well, I'm not saying anything. I think he was a pretty good doctor. And I think the government around here is running doctors and teachers, and they're going to now this reversion stuff. It's afraid they're going to shut schools down and shut everything down. It's not going to be good. Good for the community.
I might not be here forever, but as long as I'm doing this job, I'm going to fight to get us information.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. But it's all politics. I mean, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to tell you that. If it's bad news, they'll wait. They'll tell you to the last minute. They don't want to talk. Well, you know all about it. You've dealt with them.
Oh, yeah.
They act like they can keep us under the roof. Well, I'll let you go, Charles, but I just want to say that it don't sound good for the community.
Hey, did you hear Nancy? Did you hear negative Nancy?
It'd be what?
Did you hear Nancy when she was calling in?
Not all of it.
Yeah, that's another thing you have to deal with is folks like Nancy who really not only do they not help, they try to make it hard on harder even doing it. But anyway, that's the comedy part of this. But sometimes it's not helpful. But we're trying to, if the community will call the hospital and say, well, y'all do something public so we can know what's going on. And more people need to voice their concern about that. Write letters to the editor. Say, tell us what's going on. Have a press conference. Have a Zoom meeting. Do whatever it takes to let people know what's going on with the maternity ward. Why are we having to do this? I want to know, did they consult local leaders? I've talked to several leaders, Henry County supervisors. Did anybody else know about this? Did they tell the Chamber of Commerce? Did they tell the mayor? Did they meet with Kathy Lawson? They should have, because sometimes we as a community can fix the problem. But from what I can sense, is nobody knew anything about this till Monday afternoon when the letters start coming out. So it doesn't look like they consulted anybody in the community about this, and I don't think that's good either. 276-732-5898. It's a frustrating night, but it looks like we're going to be losing the maternity ward at the hospital as of May the 2nd. I know that other media is working on this as well. We're trying to figure out what's going on. There might be more tomorrow. We'll try to get more information tomorrow. I'm hoping for a press conference by Thursday or Friday that lets the public know. Tell us something. Tell us what we can expect. Tell us where should Ladies of Martinsville go to Danville? Will they ride an ambulance? How will this work? That's the questions I'm trying to get answered. You're watching Primetime Live, and we're trying to deal with a primetime issue right now. I think this is not good news for the Martinsville and Henry County area. We got blindsided with this. I don't think anybody knew about it. If they did, I've been checking around, and nobody really knew about this. It wasn't something heavily discussed. But I want to get some reaction. And what y'all react tonight, I'm sure the hospital's listening tonight. Somebody from the hospital is watching the program tonight. And hopefully they will get on the phone. There'll be some negative talk. There'll be negative Nancy's in the hospital saying, oh, they're just trying to be negative. This is frustrating. We deserve better. The community deserves better than this. We need to know what's going to happen. And technically, we don't have that many days to do anything about it. I mean, today's April the 13th. Just, less than 20 days. A little less than it will. It's a little less than 20 days for the community to find out about this. How will it affect the doctors that handle this? What kind of information do they know? 732-5898 is the number. I'd like to take one more call before we take a break. I want to hear from some folks in Bassett. I think folks in Bassett, they'll have to travel 40 miles. Roark's just about as close for them. Give me a ring. 732-5898 is the number. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I do want more reaction on it. This story deserves more time than just 20 minutes. So I do want to hear from people. Let me take this call. It's a call from Bassett. How about that? Hello, you on the air?
Yes, sir. I was glad Nancy called in. Hey, Nancy, I hope you're doing well. She said she knew some higher ups in the hospital, and you didn't know nothing about it. Well, then, Nancy, we're begging you, please call back in and tell us what the higher ups have said about it.
Yeah.
Because this affects more than just one person.
Yeah. Maybe Nancy can be helpful for a change.
Well, she told you a few minutes ago, she said, as you know, Charles, I know the higher ups in the hospital. I guess because DuPont paid $2 more on that hospital than the rest of the places around here did.
Yeah. Nancy ought to be concerned, especially if she's got kids that might, I don't know the age of her kids. I know she does have some, and this is definitely a female issue.
I heard she got a beautiful family, and I'm glad for her.
Yeah.
But if she's got information, I wish you'd call in with it.
Right. Isn't it interesting? In a community, you really do have all types.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's what I think so unique about Star News is I think you get to really get a feel of the community, and not everybody's on our side,
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that's kind of amusing about it. But I think if you watch the show, you can detect it.
Yeah.
And of course, there'll be all that negative talk. Charles Roark's being too nosy, and all that kind of stuff. I deal with it just about every story I do somehow, some way. And but all I feel like I'm doing is I think we as a community deserve some answers.
Sure.
I mean, if they can get on there and tell us to do all these COVID mandates and all that kind of thing, they ought to tell us about why they had to close down the maternity ward. And they say it's demographics. In other words, they say there's not enough people using it. But you know, I think a real good study would be how many people aren't using it.
There you go.
Or how many people are scared to use it. I mean, these are the comments that we're hearing on the social media. People are fearful of our hospital. That's no secret.
And that's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah. I'm always a little bit worried about going over there because I have to do these talk shows that challenges them sometimes. That would be a little bit of my concern. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
if I worked at Cable 18, I'd go to Rocky Mount. I'd be scared to go over.
Right. But I think it's important that we bring these topics up. You know, I tell people,
ain't nobody else gonna do it.
I can't do this job and act scared all the time.
There you go.
I can't do that.
Well, I'm gonna go so you can do your commercial, so everybody can call and tell how wrong I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We do need to take a break, but let's continue this topic. It's a little tough topic for the community, but I think it's one we need to talk about. And the hospital. I mean, I think they're going to be scared to do a press conference because they're going to think, oh, no, they're going to ask us about Dr. Cernia. All right, let me take this call real quick, Jeff, because I just think this is such an important topic. Hello.
You know, I think that fellow on the Great Road, he needs to tell stuff that is the truth, because he called in and said you can go to the maternity ward and rock him out. They don't even have one up there.
Yeah.
And you sitting up there running your mouth, just like conversation, just put words, just try to talk like you know everything. You don't know whether they even have a doctor or not in the maternity ward. You need to.
I agree. I don't know, and that's why I'm saying they need to let the community know.
Downgrade somebody, and you ain't gonna find out nothing from nobody when you going out to MERS staff and everywhere trying to make $1.
Well, Nancy, we have to make it. We have to pay for it. It's the way the commercial world works. I hate to tell you that. All right, we're getting a call from Reedsville right now. Hello. Hello, you on the air? Go ahead.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
I can tell you why they're doing this. There's a lot of smaller hospitals are doing this across the country. It costs a lot of money to keep a maternity ward open.
Yeah, I bet.
A lot of money.
Right.
And by sending them to the emergency room, they're still going to use the same equipment. But they're saying is that so many people don't have insurance, and if they pump them through the emergency room, they can get the government to kick in and pay for some of this stuff.
Yeah, but then they're going to be moving it to Danville, so they're going to still have to run it out of Danville, but it's kind of inconvenient for people in Martinsville. Yeah,
but like say, when our grandchildren were born, they were born in Cone in Greensboro.
Right.
And there was like one or two empty suites, and you know how it is. You sit around as grandparents and waiting for the labor. You're just talking to nurses and people, and they said, "Yeah, we came at a good time because they like to keep that thing full." Yeah. They said if it's not at 95% capacity, they're losing money.
Right. Well, they say that's the demographics of Martinsville. That's the word they used in the letter.
Yeah, because when Moorhead used to be open and they had theirs, there was lucky to be one or two people at a time in there. So they were just losing money. I can understand it. Everything's about money in medicine right now. Everything.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And you can't blame them. They have shareholders and stuff. They got to make a profit.
Yeah, but I think they need to come out and with some kind of community event or something that they can be put in the local media to explain their position. I think we do deserve for them to tell us how we're supposed to do it. Do we go to the emergency room? Do we go to Danville and set up our, all of our procedures? How do we do this?
But if they do that, like you said, then they got to answer questions. It's better. It's easier on them. Just don't say a word. We're going to cut it off. We're going to cut it off.
That's irresponsible.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But that's the way the medical field does nowadays. They don't talk about nothing. They just, it's a business now, Charles. It's not like, when I had my children 30 years ago, you went in there and you felt the love and care of the nurses. Everybody, it was just a joyful experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's in and out. You know what I mean? How soon can we get you out here? How much are we going to bill you?
Right. Man.
Back then it was you stayed as long as you need to.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, my second child, because she had him in the middle of the night, the next day we were supposed to go home in the evening, and the nurse and the doctor said, why don't you just stay till tomorrow since it's so late?
Yeah.
And we said, well, how much will that cost? Don't worry about it. We're not even going to charge you for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it used to be done, Charles.
Right. Well, one thing I agree with Sarcastic Man. He questions all of for-profit medicine.
Well, it is. I mean, and it's all privatizing, and it's coming down to, like, say, when these hospitals start, opening up to shareholders and stuff, that means they have to answer to them.
Yeah.
And these people don't look at patients. They look at numbers and profit. Where can we make more money? Look at the maternity ward. We're breaking even or losing money. Cut it out.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you calling tonight.
Hey, buddy, be good, buddy.
All right, folks. So we do need to take a commercial break now. We'll be back. I do want to keep this discussion going. I think it's big news, or it's a big deal for the Martinsville and Henry County area. We need to get more information, and it's going to be tough because I think what he said is kind of accurate. I think that it's easy for them not to answer, but we're not going to make it easy for them. That's one thing I promise. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here. Got a interesting topic going on in the Martinsville, Henry County area. As of May 2nd, they say it's temporary, but what does that mean? They say that we won't be delivering babies in Martinsville, Henry County for a while. How long? Who knows? But they say they're going to move the maternity ward to Danville. And it's already creating some discussion. I'm hearing from ladies during the commercial break saying, hey, let's say you're a grandma. Let's say you're your family member. Having to go 45 miles to check in on the loved ones is not an easy task. This is not good for our community. Hello? Hello, troublemaker.
Yeah. Look at it this way. All of these companies, these $1 million companies, are supposed to be coming to the Commonwealth Crossing. All these people locating from all over the world coming here.
Yeah.
Say, they find out that you can't even have a baby in this town. How does it look for this? Now, you think everybody's going to leave where they at and come here? They can't even have if their wife's pregnant, they can't even come here and have a baby?
It's definitely not a good economic development thing. Again, what they'll do is just avoid talking about it.
But I thought I put that spin to it because ain't nobody mentioned that.
Yeah. This is not good.
I want to correct Negative Nancy on something.
All right.
Hillbilly don't live on a great road.
Right.
He owns it.
Right. She has got it out for you two.
Well, she just kind of keep on going on for her plan. We fight back.
Okay. She's leaving me alone for a while, a little bit, but she is targeting you guys right now.
She's hard on Hillbilly tonight. I'm telling you, she's rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take up for it.
All right. All right, folks, we're taking your live calls right now. 656-2255. That's not the right number. 732-5898 is the number. 732-5898. But there was a letter sent out to doctors in the Martinsville and Henry County area. And they got the notice Monday. It's trickling down, and people are talking about it. The hospital has said nothing publicly. They have not come out with a public statement. They're not explaining to people what they need to do. At least come out with a brochure or something telling these expecting mamas what they need to do. We got a tip on the air today. We started off during the 4 o'clock show. We got a tip that one, apparently a patient had gotten. And not many days to deal with this. Less than 20 days to deal with this situation. I don't think any leaders in the community knew about it. You would think that the CEO or the people running this place would meet with the mayor, meet with the supervisors and say, look, we got this problem. You know, and the community might be able to help them solve a problem. But it's back to this corporate medicine that they don't care what we think about it. I'm amazed that Sarcastic Man's not calling tonight. He's such a big fan of the medical world these days. And he was a part of it at one time. But definitely things have changed. And I do think the community deserves better than this. And I think some of the criticism the hospital gets is warranted. I know they can't fix every problem. I know we are a rural community, and it's obviously not easy to run a hospital in a rural community. I get that. But I do think they deserve a little more communication with the community. Now, during the pandemic, they had that bald-headed CEO. They fired him in a day. And one day he was working, and the next day he's gone. Hello, you on the air?
Yes. I think Sova Health needs to pack up and get what out of here. That's what I think.
Well, but we don't. If they leave totally, we're going to be in an even worse situation, right?
Well, they should have never done what they done to start with. The people paid for that hospital, and then what did they do with it? And then these people run one of the best doctors in town, out of town, and here he's proven innocent, then started up another place somewhere else, but too far for his patients to go.
Oh, yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, I've always told people we live in a one-horse town. It's becoming more and more true than I've ever seen it.
Right. I believe we have good things about our community, but I don't like this commercial hospital system. I can see a lot of drawbacks.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I do know that it takes leadership. And sometimes if you're a leader and you got bad information, you're smarter to come clean with it. Say, look, but I think it's pretty bad when we have to find out with patients calling us. We get more information from patients than we do from the hospital information office. That's not good. They should want to control the information, or at least try to be able to make sure that it gets answered accurately. Anytime you're getting second and third hand information, it's not good, because some of it will break down. And I'm beginning to wonder, like that caller said, do they think that less is better? They think just let them deal with it. It seems that way. It seems like they just don't want to talk to us. I mean, it's. But what you should do, call the hospital and say we need to know more about this. You just call the director line and say we need to speak to the information office. The community needs to know more. That helps us. They have people that are trained to talk to us. I don't know why they don't do it. They got this big Acernia lawsuit going on. They hadn't said a word about it. The community, you have patients looking all over town for doctors. I've heard patients that still hadn't got doctors yet. There's a doctor shortage. And that might be the reason they don't have the maternity ward. But tell us what we need to do. Do we need to go meet up with somebody in Danville? What do we need to do? The community deserves better. That's what I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know 2 young ladies that are pregnant right now. What are they supposed to do?
Right. And how far along are they?
Probably, a couple months out.
Right.
One, I think, maybe a month out. And, when you're a month out, that could be any day.
That's right. And the first question I want to ask, okay, well, you can deliver them in the emergency room. Do they stay in the hospital for the night? Do y'all take them to Danville? How do you handle this?
Yeah, I mean, are they going to be able to clean the babies? Do they have the nurses that knows how to take care of the babies and stuff? Are
they going to cart the baby off in the ambulance? How are they going to do that? Is that?
Yeah. Especially, if the baby needed an incubator, or you'll never know what's going to happen.
Are they going to separate the mother? Are they going to separate the mother from the baby?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, that's what happened with me when I had my son at Martinsville. His umbilical cord was around his neck, and he come out and he was blue, and they took him straight away. I never even got to see him for like 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
I was freaking out.
I bet.
Because, they took him away, and I didn't get to see him.
Right.
But, what if something like that were to happen?
Yeah.
Are they prepared for that?
Right. I think we deserve better.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I think we do. So I think we need to say it. Say it like it is. All right, folks.
And I think Henry County people need to be able to vote on this Martinsville reversion as well.
Okay. I agree.
All right, have a good one.
I agree. I don't like just taking it. I don't take it too good. All right, folks, give us a ring here, 732-5898. We've got the news today that they plan to shut down the maternity ward at the hospital May the 2nd. Less than 20 days. What is the community going to do? We're going to put up with this? Do we need answers? I think we need answers. Hello.
Hi, is this I can't think of his name. The guy from Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Starting His Facebook right now. Who?
Starting.
We're talking about the hospital right now.
Yeah, I just want to say Danville and both Save a Health, the one in Danville and the one up here, they both should have been shut down years ago.
You think so?
I had my son. He'll be 14 in August. I was told from a doctor in Danville that was an OB that I couldn't have kids since I was 16, and I got pregnant 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. Then the doctor who delivered him, because I refused to go back to that doctor, had a bunch of lawsuits against him, and he's no longer here on earth anymore because of it. But our hospitals, I wouldn't even take a dead rat there. Like, I swear, like, they've had so many lawsuits against them. I don't even honestly know how they work. Right. I've seen it being there myself, them putting people out in the waiting room that's having heart attacks. I swear, like, I had 2 family members that have died in that hospital that I think shouldn't have. So I wish somebody would come in and take over that hospital.
I hear you.
Like Carillion or somebody is good.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, they don't get good reviews, that's for sure.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling.
Thank you for letting me call in. You
bet.
Have a wonderful afternoon.
If you know somebody that's pregnant, tell them they need to get on top of this.
Okay, I definitely will. I know a couple people, so I'm going to be reaching out to them.
Tell them don't expect the maternity ward to be at the hospital. You need to call and find out what you need to do or make different arrangements. Because it's May the 2nd.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it just up here or is it Danville too?
Well, the way we understand it is they plan to have a maternity ward in Danville, but if ladies need to stay over, apparently they're going to have to stay over in Danville. My question is, if they go to the emergency room and they birth the baby here at the emergency room, do they cart them both off to Danville? How do they do this? We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know how.
All right. Well, I'll definitely tell them because, like I said, I know a couple people that just now finding out they're pregnant from up here, thinking, they're going to be able to go there. So. Yeah,
I mean, and they might want to make different arrangements in a different town.
Yeah, and it's sad because if you have like Virginia Medicaid, we can't even go down to Eden. Like I live in Ridgeway off of 87. Yeah. Eden is actually closer to me, but because I have Virginia Medicaid, they won't even accept me.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's something to do with them not getting proper payments from Medicaid or something. But all North Carolina hospitals will not accept Virginia Premier. I mean, any type of like Virginia Premier, any type of the Medicaid at all.
Well, somebody needs to work that out too. I appreciate you calling. That's good to know.
You're welcome, and you have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. I apprite you calling. Bye. That's interesting.
You're welcome. Bye.
We need to do more shows on medical. I can see it. That's it. People are getting very frustrated with their health providers these days. I can sense it, and especially here in Martinsville. Let's see if we can get one more call in before we take another break. The phone number here is 732-5898. Breaking news tonight is the hospital plans to shut down the maternity ward as of May the 2nd, saying it's a demographic issue with not enough people. We've heard people talk about these places have to be profitable. They have to have them all full, and apparently they can't do it. And so it looks like they're going to be shutting it down, moving it to Danville. What else are they going to do this way? And are they going to let the public know? There's less than 20 days before all this happens. So that's a big concern for our community. And we're the first to tell you. And I'm going to thank the viewers. People call us. I get a lot of my news from the viewers because they have to experience this. People are experiencing this now. They're being told you're going to have to do something else. Okay. They need to just call back at 276-732-5898. $732-5898 is the number. You'd like to get on the show? I'm going to have to take a quick break here. All right, let's take that quick break, and we'll be back for just a few more things. I'll try to go over it one more time for people can get ready. You need to make different plans if you know somebody who's pregnant, especially if if they're close to labor. Let me take this call real quick. Hello there. Hello.
Hey, Charles. This is another black eye that the hospital has gave themselves.
Right.
They're having so many problems, and this just puts the icing on the cake, so to speak. There's been so many patients that's had a problem with them charging them for services that they did not receive while they were there.
Right.
And they had to get Medicare involved, and Medicare had to get them to write it off.
Right.
And so, I've said it so many times, Carillion needs to step in.
Mm-hmm.
We need Carillion to buy out this hospital, or we're going to end up without one.
Right. Well, they might have to leave before something gets done. But
yeah.
But I hope it's not like Patrick County where we don't have anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And, the women that have their OBGYN doctors here, they want those doctors to take care of them when the baby is delivered.
Right. I hear I've heard one is going to be closing their doors next week.
Yeah. If they've got to go out of town for it to be delivered,
yeah,
that doctor's not going to know anything about their case.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate the work you do for our community, Charles. Keep it up.
Right. Well, call the hospital and tell them to talk to me. Or talk to the local media. They say, have a press conference. Do that for me. Call them up tomorrow and say, we think the community needs to know more about this, what to do. I think her name is Haley. You call the information office and ask for Haley, okay?
I took care of that today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back for a few more words. Stay with us.
to your home.
All right, folks, we're out of time. We actually had some longer sessions than we're supposed to. I thought it was such an important topic for the community, healthcare, and we're going to do more on healthcare. I think it's time that we talk more about medical providers and so forth. Who's doing us right, and who's talking to us, who's telling us what's going on. The best advice I can get, and I'm really not trying to be funny here, is we need to be healthier. That's our real problem. Is that we don't do healthy, we don't eat healthy, we don't do the things we need to stay healthy. That keeps us out of the hospital, and that keeps us out of all this racket. But I'm going to stay on the hospital. I'd like you to call the hospital and say the community deserves better than this. Less than 20 days before they're going to strip out the maternity ward and send people to Danville, and then said a word to the community about it. They've talked to the doctors Monday, but they hadn't said a word to the news media or anybody else. Be responsible, hospital. Tell the community that you serve what you're doing. You serve us, so serve us. Be responsible. See you next time.